And so at the minimum and maximum value of the function, of any function, is the slope always 0? That is the question. And of course the question was, at the minimum or maximum value of the function, is the slope always 0? And it's given to you as a true or false statement. And the actual answer is false. And so you'll actually notice by this little diagram that there is a global minimum, in other words, the absolute minimum value of this function happens at this endpoint. So this function is defined on some closed domain of x. This is the global minimum, and you'll notice that you can't actually take the slope here, and we can't take the derivative here because it is an endpoint. You'll notice that there is a minimum and a maximum, the other way around, a minimum and a maximum to the function here and here, and the slope at those locations is in fact 0. Those are local minima and local maxima. They're not the minimum and maximum value of the function, however. And so a function slope of 0 could indicate some things. So which of these things would a function slope of 0 actually indicate? So what are the things that a slope function of 0 could indicate? And so you were given a range of options here. 2 of them are correct. A slope function of 0 could indicate these 2 possible conditions: a local minimum or a maximum, or a global minimum or a maximum. And so even though not necessarily do they indicate those things, you can see that it's possible. And so here's a function, and you can actually just make it by dragging these points, and this program will calculate them for you. This would be a global minimum, and so yes, indeed, it has a slope of 0. A slope of 0 could indicate that you've reached a global minimum, and it could indicate that you've reached a local minimum. And so what we need to do is actually switch around our definitions a little bit to make this thing work. And so now we've reformed our statement a little bit, and let's see if this is good enough to meet all of the criteria for a local minimum or maximum. So at a local minimum or maximum, the slope will always be 0 as long as the function is continuous and differentiable at that point. And so is that true or is that false? And so in this case, we've taken the question again. We've said at a local minimum or maximum, the slope will be 0 as long as it's continuous and differentiable. And that is actually true. So as long as it's continuous and differentiable, the slope will be 0 at a local minimum or a maximum. And there are exceptions. To the local minimum or maximum, but those are things like cusps and discontinuities where you can't actually differentiate the function.